a Pakistani man yelled at me, 3 is 1, 1 is 3, you can't do maths. How did you people ever reach the moon? 1 rocket, 3 stages. Welcome back. My name is James and I run the Al-Maida Initiative. And for the last 10 years, I've been getting Christians and Muslims together over food to have friendly but also honest conversations. Front and center in any conversation about Christianity and Islam is the Trinity, which is really the central concern Muslims have for Christians in light of Tawhid, the Islamic doctrine of monotheism. The first time I ever talked to Muslims about theology was at Speaker's Corner in London 20 years ago. A Pakistani man yelled at me, 3 is 1, 1 is 3, you can't do maths. How did you people ever reach the moon? 1 rocket, 3 stages. So we're going to make 3 videos on this one topic. This week, we are going to talk about the key distinctives between the Christian view of God and the Muslim view of God, and the limitations of trying to explore this topic using logic. Then next week, we will talk about how starting with different books will lead us to completely different conclusions, and finally, we'll ask the question, did God become a man? But let's start by what we actually agree on. The central thing that Christians and Muslims, also Jews, share is monotheism, the belief that there is only one God. The foundational declaration of God's oneness comes from Deuteronomy 6, the key creed of Judaism known as the Shema. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Despite what many people think, this is in no way overturned in the New Testament. Specifically, the Apostle Paul himself quotes this twice in Romans 3 and in Galatians 3. This again is repeated in Isaiah when God says, "Thus says the Lord, the King of Israel and his Redeemer, the Lord of hosts. I am the first and I am the last. Besides me, there is no God." The Bible is unequivocal. There is only one God and there are no others. "You are my witnesses, declares the Lord, and my servant whom I have chosen, that you may know and believe me and understand that I am he. Before me no God was formed, nor shall there be any after me." This verse is almost equivalent to the famous Qur'an surah Al-Ikhlas, a fundamental statement of the nature of God in Islam. Say, He is Allah, one, Allah the sustainer. He has never had offspring, nor was he born, and there is none to compare to him. In today's discourse, this surah is often front and center of the debate between Christians and Muslims, because if you contrast Surah Al-Ikhlas in Yusuf Ali's Quran translation with John 3:16 in the King James Version, you get this. "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. Allah the Eternal, Absolute, he begetteth not, nor is he begotten." It makes this surah sound like a direct counterpoint to John, but it isn't. The Greek word in John that older translations translate as begotten comes from the Greek word monogenes, which literally means one of a kind, and we still functionally use both these words to mean the same thing in English today. Mono means one, and genus means category. So when the Bible uses that word, it means that Jesus is the only one who can be called Son of God in his category. It's not speaking to the idea of God literally spawning him. In the time and context the Quran was written in, Christians did not use the term Yalid, which implies physical parenthood, as it is used in this surah, but would instead call him Ibnahu al-Wahid, which means the only son without implying a literal birth. According to the majority of Muslim scholars, including Ibn Kathir, this surah is a Meccan surah, not targeted at Christian beliefs, but is instead a response to a question asked by members of the polytheistic Quraysh tribe, as Ibn Kathir says. "The idolaters said to the Prophet, 'O Muhammad, tell us the lineage of your Lord.' The Quraysh, like the ancient Greeks or Romans, believed in gods that reproduced and had children, which is not what Christians have ever believed. In its original context, there is nothing in Surah Al-Ikhlas that a Christian could not affirm, and it's not written to serve as a refutation to Christian doctrine. That comes later. What is absolutely written as a refutation to Christian doctrine would be Surah Al-Ma'idah, Ayah 17. Indeed, those who say Allah is the Messiah, son of Mary, have fallen into disbelief. Say, O Prophet, who has the power to prevent Allah if he chose to destroy the Messiah, the son of Mary, his mother, and everyone in the world altogether? To Allah alone belongs the kingdom of the heavens and the earth, and everything in between. He creates whatever he wills, and Allah is most capable of everything." So the doctrine of Tawhid, Islamic monotheism, specifically defines itself against the Christian understanding of the divinity of Jesus. In Islamic theology, it is impossible for Jesus to be the Son of God in any sense. There is not even a discussion of whether the divinity of Jesus is compatible with Islam, it is not. And while you might be able to convincingly argue that the Qur'an either misunderstands biblical Christianity or is simply addressing a heretical group, traditional Muslim theology in all its forms precludes Jesus from being God. Islamic theology denies not only the incarnation of Jesus, but resisted any type of physical manifestation of God whatsoever. Muslims believe that Christians are the ones that simply invented the idea of God being able to take physical form, and any passages in the New Testament which appear to show Jesus as divine are either misinterpreted or later corruptions. Today, many Muslims try and challenge Christian belief with simple logical formulations like how can 1 + 1 + 1 = 3? That doesn't make any sense. It probably comes as no surprise that I don't think that this conversation is productive, and the reason for that is that this isn't a disagreement that can be solved by logical deduction, because Christians and Muslims have completely different starting points for their theology. Logic, when used as a tool, is great at ordering complex information, but it can't really tell you what you don't know. Using logic, Aristotle deduced that if you drop two objects from a high altitude, the larger, heavier object will fall faster. But Galileo observed that objects fall at the same speed, regardless of their size and weight. The weakness of logic is that it relies on assumptions about how something works, and if those assumptions change, then the output of the logical deduction changes too. Any conversation about logic between Christians and Muslims has limited utility because we have completely different starting assumptions. The real debate isn't does the Trinity make logical sense, but what did God reveal about himself? Logic can probe consistency within a revelation, i.e., does the Trinity contradict biblical monotheism? Obviously Christians will say no to that. But it can't adjudicate between different revelations without being circular. So my goal here isn't trying to convince Muslims that what we believe is more logical. I simply want to explain the premises that we as Christians believe in that make the Trinity a logical answer to us. In the next video, we are going to talk about what Christians believe about the Bible, what Muslims believe about the Quran, and how our different starting points lead to completely different conclusions.